I'm a bit of a broken record sometimes. If you go through my videos over time, you'll see certain fragrances recur, they'll come back. I'll keep talking about them. And it makes you wonder, is there a reason why? They're amazing fragrances. There's a reason why they're always on my radar. There's a reason why they always make it into my videos. And I know there's a lot of you who have tried some of these recommendations of mine and have reported back saying, wow.
You were right, bro.
So I did a video about a year ago about 10 fragrances that I talk about all the time. And if you haven't tried them yet, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Today we have another installment of another 10 fragrances. Again, these are ones I've talked about robustly in many videos across my channel. And this is yet, I guess, another reminder. If you haven't tried these yet, please do yourself a favor. Check them out. If you're genuinely interested in some interesting fragrances, I highly recommend it. So let's dive right into the list. We have no particular order here. First one up is coming from Penhaligon's. This is one that they call Halfeti Cedar. And this is a fragrance that I think is not that easy to find these days. But if you can get your hands on a sample, it is stunning. It is simply stunning. It is so thick, it is so dense and rich. Lots of dry woodiness coming from cedar wood as per the name. A lot of dried fruits. There's almost this sweet, pruny feel to it. You also have a bit of a ripe peach in here. You have some booziness. There's something about it that is very handsome and very elegant, but it's also a little bit cozy. However, I do tend to dress this one up, usually in the cooler months, usually in the evening time. It's also quite powerful on my skin, so I don't spray much of it. Very elegant stuff. I've been talking about it for a while for a reason. This was love at first sniff for me. Penhaligon's Halfeti Cedar. I'm going to link to whatever I can find down below in terms of a sample, in terms of the bottle, if you feel so ambitious. I'm going to have links down below. Check it out. Up next from Amouage Beach Hut Man, again, broken record. Now this one I can easily say is not for everyone. It does have a little bit of a maturity, a bit of an old school feel, maybe a bit of a vintage kind of 1980s feel to it. Very green, very mossy and woody, but also very minty and fresh. You smell...
It smells expensive.
Let's just say that. Let's get it out of the way. It smells like it costs a lot of money, and it generally does. You can find it discounted if you look around, and I highly recommend getting samples first if you can, but it's one you gotta try. You gotta get your nose on it just to see how you feel about this type of fragrance. Very unique. Have smelled nothing quite like this. Honestly, a masterpiece from the brand, if you're asking me. Beach Hut Man. Incredible stuff. Let's talk about a designer fragrance. We have the list evenly split between designer and niche. From Cartier, one of the best designer brands on the market, if you're asking me. This is a flanker of the famed and heralded Déclaration, and this is the Parfum flanker that came out a few years ago. And it does what a Parfum flanker should do. Takes the original identity, that original personality, richens it, enhances certain facets of it, makes it able to be worn for different functions. That's what I think a flanker should do. This enhances the leather. This adds more of a warm, sweet resinous feel, but it's still very spicy, still quite leathery, still quite woody, still very handsome smelling, but more for the evening time and definitely more elegant and elevated smelling than the original, which is already wonderful. The original perhaps is more versatile. I would wear this again, different functions. That's what a flanker should do, and they did it right here. Please check it out. I've been telling you.
I've been telling you.
What's the holdup? Get a sample. Déclaration Parfum. Another designer fragrance. From Tom Ford, we have Beau de Jour. Again, another fragrance that not everyone's going to love. Definitely smells a little old school. Reminiscent of something like Zino Davidoff from 1986. Definitely smells like that. Kind of old school fougere. Lots of lavender, lots of oak moss. Woody, but kind of soapy fresh, creamy in a way, almost sweet, very tastefully so, but has a bit of this kind of stuffiness that not every guy's gonna like. Smells very executive. You're a boss if you're wearing this. Get a sample first if you can, if you're looking for something that really makes an impact on people, even if they don't give you a compliment, because it's not all about that. Check out Tom Ford Beau de Jour. Fantastic modern fougere, paying homage to the genre as a whole. Argos fragrances, talk about them all the time for a reason. Utter quality through and through, from the scent to the bottle to the stories. Everything is thoughtfully done. Everything is done to the nth degree. High value stuff here. This is called Triumph of Bacchus. Definitely one of their best sellers, and for a reason. This stuff is rich. This stuff is so rich. I mean, just look at it. And this is a natural coloring because when I got this bottle, it was almost a light pale yellow. And over the course of the last 2 years, maybe 3 years or so, it has turned into this beautiful burnt ambery orange color. Again, all natural. This is not a dye. And it smells the way that it looks. And as it's aged, it's actually gotten richer in scent as well. This is juicy peach with boozy rum, a backing of a little bit of a soft jasmine that kind of rounds out the edges, some nice rich earthy tobacco as well, some crisp apple in there. It's sweet, it's boozy, it's rich, juicy, it's like dripping in rum, but it's also grounded by this darkness from tobacco and woods and other things like that. Saffron as well, a little spicy. That's it. That's all I got to say. You don't have to go blind buy this bottle because it's not cheap. Do use the code FRESH10 on a sample pack. Sample the whole brand. I've been telling you guys that as well. Sample the whole brand, see if there's something that speaks to you. You will not regret it. Triumph of Bacchus. Designer fragrance from the house of Dior, and I understand why some of you may not have tried this by now. Dior Homme 2020. Now, if you haven't tried this yet, chances are you haven't done so because you're skeptical about it. Because maybe you had the original Dior Homme before they reformulated. It's not even a reformulation. This is an all new fragrance altogether. You might have had the original. You might have loved it like I did, like I still do. You heard about this, you heard things about it, and you're like, oh man, they completely abandoned that? No, I'm not going near that thing. I was the same way. I was just like you until I got a sample of it. I tried to hate it for about a week, but I couldn't stop wearing it. By the end of that week, I was like, man,
This stuff is good.
is it simple? Yes. Is it basic? No. Because they're not following all the trends here. This doesn't smell like every other men's versatile designer fragrance out on the market. Instead of being shower gel fresh or bubblegum sweet, this is like elegant, confident, but understated, fresh woody with a little bit of this slightly resinous feel from LME. It's something that it smells familiar, but there's something different about it. There's something special about this. I've been talking about it. Again, I tried to hate it, and you guys know me. I'm a kind of a simple hater. I'm a bit of a basic hater. It just, those scents don't move me, but they did it right here. Check it out. Get you a sample. I first sampled it from DecanX. I'm going to have a link down below where you can do the same. Save some money with the code STAYFRESH15. That's on any purchase. But check it out if you've been putting it off. You might just love it, and you'll definitely get a lot of wear out of it. Dior Homme 2020. Probably one of the most transportive fragrances in my collection has to go to Russian Tea from Masque Milano. This was my first love from the brand when I first started smelling them almost 4 years ago. Man, it is what it sounds like. The ingredients come together here in such a way that if you close your eyes, you take a sniff, and then you hold that sniff in your nostrils. You know what I'm talking about, where you kind of close the palate and you just hold it there. The way it lingers and the way that it kind of affects you is indescribable, honestly. This is cooling mint inside black tea, slightly spiced, a little bit of raspberry in there that's a little sweet, but a little tart as well, a bit of a honeyed feel, and there's some incense that makes it smoky. It's like the cup of tea is right here. It's in my hand.
It's great, right?
You just want to drink it, but don't drink it. Incredible fragrance, very great performance as well. That's just a plus. If you want to be transported to some wilderness out in the cold winter, you're in a cabin, you're by a window, you're sipping your black tea,
And you're wondering why the heck you live in this cold freaking wasteland,
then this is one to check out. Russian Tea. Love this stuff. Alrighty, a lot of people hate this fragrance because it doesn't last a long time. Now for me, I will say that this lasts longer than you might expect. It doesn't project a whole lot. It's not in the air all day long, but if you put it on your skin and you keep coming back, after about 8 hours, you'll probably still smell it.
Nobody else will.
But this is for you. This fragrance is called Luministe. It's from Frappon. This is a lovely summer fragrance. This is cooling, refreshing, invigorating gin. This is kind of gin in a bottle. Lots of juniper berry, lots of citruses, a little bit fruity smelling, very crisp, sparkling. Wear this on a hot day in the summer. Not only is it refreshing, but it also smells a little bit elegant. Something a little bit more upscale for being such a fresh fragrance. If you need more, spray on more. It doesn't need to last a long time to be worth it. Sample it first. If you love it, it's worth it. That's how I feel about it. If you have a growing collection, you don't need to worry about going through this bottle, having to spray a lot of it, because you'll probably never finish it, at least not anytime soon. So that's not an excuse. If you love the scent, take it from me. I'm telling you it's worth it. I'm not saying go buy it, but I'm saying please do not let great fragrances go because they don't last 13 hours or they don't last 7 hours. I know that's a reasonable range. 7 hours, yeah, we all kind of want that, but I have plenty of fragrances like this that don't do that, but I love them nonetheless, even though it has no cap. Awkward. Luministe. We're coming down to the end here. 2 more. Again, this is one that a lot of you guys probably have tried, and either you loved it or you hated it. And those of you who haven't tried it, you've listened to the people that say they hate it, and you've said, I'm not trying that. Gucci Guilty Absolute. Still out there on the discounters. Even though it's discontinued by Gucci, it's still out there for some decent prices. There's still places you can sample it. Get your hands on a sample before it disappears, before prices for a bottle skyrocket, because you might get that sample. You might find it as captivating as I do, and you might want to get that bottle. Not a mainstream fragrance, and I appreciate that so much from Gucci. Leather, earthy vetiver, patchouli, very medicinal smelling, dry, unapologetic, authoritative. Not for everyone. Smells the way that it looks. Incredible fragrance from a designer brand. Yes, it smells maybe a little bit like a Band-Aid or like a doctor's office. I can see that, but when I smell that, that's not the first thing I think of. If I frame my mind, sure. But don't go into it with that. I know you've heard it before, and I just told you, but don't go into it with that. Go into it as a personality. It is a personality. This is not just a scent. If you can meld with that, you might appreciate it. Guilty Absolute, Pour Homme. And the last fragrance in this video, one of the sexiest fragrances in my collection. It allures me, as I've said, when I spray it. Incredible stuff. I've been talking about it a lot. It was love at first sniff. It threw me off my feet. When I smelled it, I'd never smelled anything from this brand. And I was like, okay, I got to check out this brand because this is not what I expected. DesirToxic. Was not expecting this to impress me as much as it did when I first smelled it. I like to call it Parfum Marly Layton's sexier older cousin. Not exactly related to it, but they have some constituents they share that gives them a similar vibe, maybe even makes them able to be worn in the same functions. But honestly, I choose this over Layton every time. It's darker. It's a little bit more mysterious. It's a little bit more edgy. Cannabis in here gives it a touch of an edginess. It's kind of slightly sour, earthy, smoky feel that you don't smell explicitly, but it kind of envelops this juicy, sweet black currant, this fresh, spicy, I think maybe some cardamom in there. There is a prominent sweetness in here, but again, there's something more grown up about it, something less juvenile smelling. Not to say Layton smells like a 13-year-old boy. No, but it definitely has a mainstream appeal that reminds me of some younger smelling fragrances. This doesn't give me that reminder at all. This is its own thing. It does stand out. It's something a little bit more mature, but not mature smelling. It's confident, but also fun. That is DesirToxic from Mikolev. I've been telling you guys, I don't know what you're waiting on at this point. I know it's not easy to get. Get a sample if you can. You might have to look around a bit. Don't give up. I'm going to link what I can find down below, but you have to try this stuff. Please.
Please.
That's it from me. These are fragrances that I love. I've been talking about them. And guess what? This is not the last time I'll be talking about them. You will see more of them in future videos. So get used to it. You might as well get in the know and try them now so you know what the heck I'm talking about. And you can comment, Justin, totally, you're right. Everyone, you should try this. I don't need the praise. That's not what I'm going for here, but I just want to share what I love. That's what I'm doing here. And I want you to know about it. I want you to experience it. So let me know if you have tried these and you're in the know already, or let me know if you have plans now to get in the know, and you can do so with the links in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.